If you're a 3DEXPERIENCE platform user and you collaborate on designs with contractors outside of your organization, you may consider a couple of possibilities to help that teamwork to happen. If the outside contractor is a 3DEXPERIENCE platform user, then you may consider inviting that user into your tenant in a limited capacity, working on the design within your data management ecosystem. If the contractor is not a platform user, or you just don't have the platform roles to spare to bring them in, then CAD packages may be the solution. CAD packages work much like pack and go, allowing us to bundle up parts, assemblies, and drawings into a package to be shared with another user to work on, outside of the context of our tenant on their local machine. Once they've made their changes, they can bundle the files back up and return it to us to incorporate back into our system. Let's look at an example of using CAD packages with an outside contractor for a simple redesign. In this case, we've created a hand-cranked universal joint with a simple, straight-barred crank handle. After hearing some feedback from our customer, we decide that a longer, curvier handlebar is needed, and a larger, more grippable knob needs to be designed. We choose to contract this work out to Bob, an outside user who doesn't use the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. We could send Bob the entire universal joint assembly, but that wouldn't be necessary for the work he needs to do. Instead, we'll just send him a CAD package of the crank subassembly that he'll be redesigning. The best way to create a CAD package is within SOLIDWORKS using SOLIDWORKS Connected or the Design with SOLIDWORKS add-in. In the 3DEXPERIENCE tab of the task pane, we'll go to the Tools tab of the toolbar on the bottom of the screen and click Export as Package. From here, we'll choose which files we want to be editable and which ones should be read-only. Next, we'll specify where to save the CAD package, and then click Export. We send the package file to Bob, the outside contractor. Since Bob isn't a platform user, he'll need to download an add-in in order to open the CAD package. He can get the add-in for free by doing a web search of SOLIDWORKS downloads, going to the SOLIDWORKS downloads page, navigating to the Free Tools tab, and downloading the 3DEXPERIENCE Exchange for SOLIDWORKS product. This will download an installation file for the add-in. Once the 3DEXPERIENCE Exchange add-in has been installed, Bob will activate the add-in from the SOLIDWORKS add-in menu. This puts a new icon on the task pane for working with packages. To get started on the design, Bob will click Import Package from the 3DEXPERIENCE Exchange tab. He'll navigate to the package file location and import. The Exchange tab shows a summary of the CAD files that are in the package, the current revision of each, and the working status of each file. Bob starts by opening the crank subassembly. He can do this by right-clicking on the file and selecting Open. The files unpack into a temporary working folder on Bob's computer and are ready to be worked on. Bob decides to create an entirely new knob design and replaces the original file that was in the assembly. He modifies the existing handlebar model and saves over it with a new design. After updating and saving the subassembly, he's ready to package it back up and return the files to us. Opening the 3DEXPERIENCE Exchange tab again, the contractor selects Edit Package and selects the appropriate package. The status column indicates which files have been modified and which ones will be newly added to the package. If needed, Bob could add more files to the package using the Add Files option. Satisfied with his work, Bob clicks Package and Export. Bob sends us the modified package, which we can open using the same method we used to export a package. From the toolbar in our 3D Experience tab, we can choose to import a CAD package. Once again, we'll get a status summary of the parts to see which files have been modified or added. If we still have any old versions of files in our local cache, some replacements may be necessary. If we navigate to My Session in the 3D Experience tab and look at the status column, we'll see any instances where the open document doesn't match the package. If we right-click on those files, we'll see the option to Replace from Package. To minimize the possibility of mismatches, be sure to clear your local cache before trying to integrate a CAD package back into your file set. To reintegrate the modified files back into our tenant, we need only to save them with our 3D Experience add-in. During the packaging process, the files retain their platform file identity and are seen as modified versions of the existing files. As we would with any other modification, we'll just save with options, lock files as required, and bump up the revision of any files that have been modified. We can add revision comments and add files to bookmarks as needed. Back in the platform, we look at our universal joint assembly and see that the platform recognizes that a newer revision exists of the crank subassembly, the revision that we just created. To incorporate the new crank handle design into the main assembly, we'll open the universal joint assembly in SOLIDWORKS, advance the revision, and replace the crank subassembly with the latest revision.